Open the curtain.
Okay, opening the dining room curtain.
Hi there, today we're unboxing a motorized curtain track system. So details for this particular system are in the description below. So let's take a quick look around the packaging. So it comes in a large package, details about the actual product. So manual operation without power, electronical position, intermediate position, dry contact control, and automatical position. So I guess the English is a little bit off, but no big deal. If I turn it around, got some details there, no step, keep dry up, careful, and some details there as well. So DIY, silent, smooth running, radio control, manual operation, large load, assembled flat, high technology, and some details there about sizing. Okay, so let's open it up and see what you get in the packaging. Okay, so I've laid out all the items you get in the packaging, so let me quickly go through them one by one. So initially you've got a manual here, and that's highlighting that you use a Tuya app, so I'm assuming that Smart Life would work also. And flipping through this, all in English, but one of the things to note, a lot of the screenshots are in Chinese. So the wording is showing in Chinese, but all the descriptions are in English. Okay. Next is a user manual for the actual curtain rail, and this is how to set it up. So it's got all the details in there. Looks like quite a number of steps to assemble this. So keep that in mind, and all in English. Okay, and manual for the actual controller that you get with it. So they call them emitters. So we've got two down here. So let's start off with the actual power adapter. So connector is 3 points there, looks like one you'd use on a laptop. Cable length wise, it's 90 centimeters, and UK plug on there fused as well, which is good. Build quality seems fine on there. Okay, let's look at one of the actual emitters. Plasticky and quite a light feel to it, and if I push it, got the battery slot there. And if I show you a close-up on there, you've got the close options, stop and open. Okay, and you've got a mount for it as well. So you can either screw it onto a wall or stick it with some sticky pads they give, so some 3M sticky pads. Okay, there's another emitter here, and slightly different, comes off like so, and very small. I've not looked into opening this up so far. And you've got the buttons obviously along the top and the bottom, and that doesn't seem to do anything. And a mounting point on there as well. And again, all plasticky and reasonable build to it. Not sure what this is. I'll have to look through the manual and work out what it is, but if I pull it off, USB connector on there, TY model. Okay, maybe that's used for the actual Smart app. Fixtures, lots of bits and pieces here. So just to show there, and got the actual hooks here. You'd hook your curtain onto. So a number of bags for those. We've actually got ceiling brackets here. Build quality of these seem good. Strong metal. I'm not sure what this one is. I think that could be a mount to mount it at the side instead of on the ceiling. Okay. Next, you've got the actual carriers for the curtains. So two of these. Okay, next you've got the end points on there. So the gear, the actual curtain motor, that actually locks into place on there, and it runs by connecting onto that, and obviously spins around. Okay, so this goes in the track, and this is what spins around, obviously moving the curtains along in the background. Okay, next you've got the actual motor. Quite good solid weight to that, all plasticky on the casing. And coming round here, let's show. Obviously you've got a power point there. Cable wise, obviously it's just a short distance thinking about it. So you've only got 90 centimeters from there downwards. So I might need an extender for this. Okay, there's a button on there, learn, Then you've got your USB point there. That must be where you plug in that. And then you've got a LAN connection and a little antenna off that. So size wise, let me get my ruler just to give you an idea. If I bring that in, it's about 29.5 centimeters, and diameter wise, we're saying it's approximately just a little bit over 6, perhaps 6.5 you could say. So good weight to that, good solid feel. Components feel good as well on here. And if I come around here, you've got some more details. So rated torque is 1.2 Nm. Nominal power consumption 40 watts, nominal voltage AC 110 to 230 volts. Okay, next you've got the actual track. So a little bit surprised by this because you've got two pieces here which are fine, and then this third one looks like it's got offcuts on there, which is a bit disappointing really. So I would have expected 3 pieces and obviously 2 bits you can connect to the other ones. So not sure why they've done it. It just looks like offcuts from what you can see. Look, so cut there, and I've just joined it with that. Another cut there, and I've joined it there. So one would come off, and I'd connect the track they've given, and then obviously there's an Allen key point here. Just tighten that up, and put the other bit in there and tighten that up. So seems straightforward. Okay, so here's the location where the curtain rail is going to be installed. Now, if I come down, I've laid out all the items. I've removed the existing curtain rail and curtains, and let's make a start at setting this up next. Okay, so initially what we're going to do, we're going to take the actual 3 tracks and connect them together. So I'm going to take one of these connectors off. I'm going to put it at the other end. And then I'm going to take the other 2 tracks and attach it on, and then tighten it up with the Allen key. Okay, so I've assembled the track, as you can see, so 3.2 meters in length. And next thing we need to do is cut the belt. So the belt's just here, all rolled up, and it comes with 2 additional pieces of plastic that assist you in cutting. So the length of the belt has to be the size of the track plus 11 centimeters. So this piece of plastic and this piece of plastic assist in getting that sizing. So if I take a bit of the belt and just show, so this piece here clips on. So if I just push it into this area, and there you go, it's clipped into position, and that just hooks on to the end of the track. So if I take this over here and the clip underneath, just push that into place, and now it's in position over here. And next, if I take the belt to the other end and just roll it out, hold it tightly in position as well. I'm going to have to adjust the track a little bit just to get a bit more space up here. I think it's quite long, and what I need to do is obviously ensure it's the right way around all the way. And then this end, it's got a slight notch in there that goes straight over, and if I show, that's how you get the length. So just hold it over here and then I can cut it. Okay, so there you go. That's the position now of the belt that needs to be cut. So just holding it over here, I've got some scissors here, and I'll just gently cut it so it just matches up with the length here. Okay, so there you go. Length is perfect now. And we need to measure one more like this. So let me do that, and then we can continue on. Okay, so now we've cut the 2 belts. I've got them here. Now, from the instructions, we need a belt buckle. So there's 2 of these. So this is what it looks like. This is a piece like this. And the way it works, you get your belt, and obviously this sits in, and there's some gaps in there where it just sits into place. You get the bottom of it, and that sits in place like so. And there's a clip at the bottom to keep it tight. and then you push it, and there you go, clips into position. So the way the picture shows, if I lay the belt out like this, we do one at one end as they're showing here, and on belt 2 you do it at the other end. So if I grab the other belt, get it like so, and then if I get the other end, put it over, that's it. So they're both in position now. Okay, so next, looking at the instructions, these carriers, as they call them, these need to be attached with the actual belt buckle, but it looks different from the picture. So what I realize is in the picture, it doesn't have these attachments attached. So I've taken it apart, and this is what we've ended up with. So the carrier and the belt buckle, and what they're showing in the picture here is you take the carrier and the buckle just slots straight into position like this. And you do the same with the other track as well. So next, what we need to do, as it shows in the picture, is just feed it in. So the track goes, the belt goes the closest side of the track. So you just need to feed it in like this. So let me see if I can get the camera in a reasonable position to show this. So if I take it over here and just show it feeding in like so, and if I just pull it along and just make sure that belt is straight all the way along, and then what happens, I feed in then the other belt from the other end, looking at the instructions. So one goes in there, the other one goes through there, and then you have obviously the end coming out of each side. So let me do that next. Okay, so next, the actual belt that's gone in, I've pulled it back again to have ample amount, so the actual end point here, I can feed it into there. So if you see, there's a hole there and there's a hole there. So if I just gently feed it into one end at the top, so just like so, just feed it in, it should pop out the other side. If I just keep going, and there you go, it's just popped out. So just a little bit more, so I can grab it, and there you go, if I can show that. So that's how it looks. Okay, so now we get the belt buckle, another one we have, and we attach that on. So if I just bring it around like so, and it's this position we want, obviously we want it to face this direction, and we lock it into position with the clip at the bottom. So let me push that in. There you go, that's locked. Then we've got a carrier here. So if I put that in the correct position, oh, just like so, sits in there, and that's how it is. So next I can put the fixtures back on the carrier. So the way that works, we've got a metal piece here that locks the two into place, like so. And then you've got this metal piece here, and then this here. So let me screw that in, and I'm just thinking the way it's going, is it correct? We can just try it out. Let's just screw it on. And there you go, that's attached now. So we want to do the same thing at the other end. So let me reposition the camera, I can show that happening as well. Okay, so we're at the other end of the track now, and got another part of the fixture. So same thing again, two holes, just feed it into one, and it should pop out the other side. And there you go. Next we want to put on the actual buckle on here. So, okay, and then the carrier. So if I put that and clip that on, that should be just right to push in there now. If I bring it like so. And next, I need to loosen these to actually allow it to tighten up a bit more, so I can touch these two carriers together and attach. Okay, so let me loosen the screw just on here. And we just need it to slot in, so let me loosen it a bit more. And there you go, that's on. And I just need to do the same at the other end. So I'll just tighten this up now. Okay, so I'm at the other end. Let me loosen this. Okay, and that should just wiggle on, and we'll just tighten it again. Okay, so now coming back to this side, you can see it's come together. So let's put on the fixtures. So from what I recall, drop this in there. This goes this way round, and this fixture goes here. And I just tighten the screws up now. And there you go. So the track and the belt are in position now. And if you look here, you can see it spinning as it turns. If I come in closer, we zoom in a little bit, and then I can pull it along. There you go. So let me take a look at the instructions, and then I'll show the next phase. So that's how it looks so far. Okay, so I've just been checking how I've installed the actual carrier that's here against the instructions. So it seems to be one end's flipped and the other one's the other way. So this is the wrong way around. So let's take one off and flip it around. Okay, so next we need to attach the runners. So looking at the instructions, it slots into there and it can be pulled up. But we need to take the screw that's holding the tensioner in place, which is here. So if I loosen that, so if I drop that, obviously that moves along. We need to take it out completely. So dropped, and if I bring that piece out, bit of a crazy design, so obviously I've got to pull that back up again and tighten it up. So what they say is for every meter you want 8 of these. So this is 3 meters, so we'll go for 12. So we've got our 12 in there, so we'll do 12 this end and 12 the other end. So let's try and take this out now. So perhaps I can use this plastic. And there you go, popped out. And if I now put it back into position, so just screw like so. Just wondering if it slots in. Yep, like so. It's not too bad. And we'll just tighten it up again. Okay, so next we need to attach the material hooks. So just over this end, just hooks in like so. Looks like there's some different ones as well, and if I just show those, if you want it to go further, you can attach that. So it's good they've given these different fixtures. So I'll just go for the standard for now, and I'm gonna install it so it's against a wall, not on a ceiling. So it looks like they've given some brackets for that as well. So just showing those brackets. So obviously that stays in that position. If I bring it over like so, so depending on how it's fitted, I would have thought actually this side is the correct side. So obviously it's covering this. And if you want it further out, as I showed before, I guess, there you go. It's just there and it will hook onto there. So that will be the point where the end of the curtain goes. Okay, so in terms of installation, so you evenly place these brackets, so they just hook on. So if I just show it just from one side, and I can just pull this, pull it out afterwards. So if I go like so, pull it, it's locked in, take it out, just lift that, it just pops out. Now the wall mount side of things, so this would be mounted straight up. So if you're going to mount against a wall, well, I think perhaps this way may be a little bit neater, so you don't see the top bit of the bracket. Okay, so I thought before I go too far down the line with this particular installation, let me make sure this actually works. So the actual motor here, let's plug this in. So got the cable here. Best to test this out obviously before it's installed in case there is a problem with it. So I'll plug it in here, but before I do that, let me plug in this USB dongle thing. So let me see. There's no mention of it in the instructions. There must be a reason why they've given it, and obviously that's the only point I can see where you connect it. So we'll plug it in, and if we come in close, you can see a flashing light just here. Okay, so now that's flashing, it looks like it's ready for a configuration. So if I go to my mobile, okay, so let's start the Play Store and let's search for Smart Life, because that's the smart app I normally use, and it's already installed. So if it's not installed, install it and register an account, and once it's done, just click open, and this is what you're presented with. So I've got other smart tech in my house together with another set of smart curtains different to this one. So let me click the plus icon here. Let's go to small home appliance, and it's just their curtain. Okay, so the light was rapidly blinking. Let me confirm that. Wi-Fi password's already in there, and just to note, only 2.4G is supported with this. If I click confirm, and let's give it a moment. And as that's going, let's just keep an eye on the light if I can see it. I think it's showing off at the moment. There you go, you can just see it in red. And there you go, it's added it in. Okay, so if I click done, that's what you're presented with. So if I click, and let me just hold the motor in position, let me see if it does anything. There you go, you can see it spinning. Pause it, turn off, spinning, pause. Okay, so next, so we're at a good stage now. Let me plug it in to the actual track. So let me just reposition the camera. Obviously the cable is very short on this, which is a bit of an annoyance. And let me come into position. So let me make sure I get it the correct way round. So there's some slots there, and if I position it like so, and I turn it, locks into position. So now if I move the camera, we go back to my mobile, and let me say turn on. There you go. Excellent. Let me do turn on. Okay, so it's the wrong way round for what it's doing. Okay, so we've established it does work, and if I press on my phone, it seems to be working in reverse, but not the end of the world. I can have a little play about and see what's causing that. So a couple of things to mention. So that seems to be a Wi-Fi dongle to allow you to connect, so you need that plugged in. That's an RJ11 connector, so that's for a different type of usage. And just realized something as I was setting this up, a couple of things to note. So the bit where I said there's a number of chunks here, and I wondered why they did that. That's just for sizing. So if you had a slightly smaller window than 3.2 meters, you can just take some of these out. So that was the whole point of putting these in. So that's quite a good idea actually. So you don't have to end up cutting these, just get as close as possible to the size you need. So it seems to be working, which is good. Build quality seems good so far. Just the only thing is going through the instructions. So obviously it takes time to assemble the whole lot, and fiddly as well, just to note. Okay, so next for the installation, let's start preparing the brackets. So this looks like the correct way to do it, and I've attached the mounting plate to the bracket itself. So let me show. So that goes against the wall, and the clip should go against the wall as well. And I think the best way to do this is probably like this, with a bolt on top. And we can just hand tighten this, and we can tighten it later so it's fully tightened. Okay, come around here. Same thing again. Put the screw in and tighten the screw. So let me carry on and do all of these so they're all ready to be attached to the wall. Okay, so there you go, all 5 prepared, so I can attach them to the wall next. Okay, so I've marked the areas where I'm going to drill, so 2 holes for each bracket, and next I'm going to start drilling. So everything's in position. I'm going to hoover at the same time to avoid too much dust coming down. So let me do that off camera. Okay, so the brackets are in now. 2 screws in each. Didn't use the screws that came with this, used slightly longer ones. Okay, so I've placed the track on and I've clipped in some of them. I'm just going to show one of them being clipped in. And just to show, very straightforward, I'll bring it closer. And then if I just show underneath, it just clips in, just a slight twist. So one more to do, and then they're all in position. Okay, so the track's on now completely. And what I've done is left a small gap on either side, so I've not got the bracket going straight to the end. So that gives me a little bit of leeway if I want to move it left or right, to just move it along, because these are bifold windows and I don't want it to get in the way of this side. So when it's opened up, I don't want the curtain to be hanging out. So there you go, there's a gap at that end as well. Okay, so there you go. There's a release button here. So if you do want to take it out, you push that down and you twist and it comes out. And if I now place, and there you go, it locks into position, that pops out. And there you go, quite secure in position now. And that's what it looks like. So if I come down, there you go. So cable is short for me, so I'll have to attach something temporarily until I get a longer cable for this. So hanging the curtains now. Okay, so I've managed to install the curtain and I've worked out why the actual motor was going the wrong way around. So it turns out the belt I put in the track, I did it from the wrong side. I reversed it. So instead of putting it in that end, I put it in the other end. So I took the parts apart and did it the other way around, and now it's working fine. And in terms of installation, it's quite interesting to note the actual gap you have on the track. It's actually enough just to put in an LED light strip. So quite pleased that fits in, and you can stick it in, but you don't actually have to stick it because it can clip just below the mounting bracket here. So works really well. So you've got the option to put it on temporarily if you wanted to, and then just taking it off. That's that. Okay, the next thing to note is obviously the cable is really short, which is a bit of an annoyance. So 90 centimeters. So what I did, I bought an extension cable, just 2 meters long, and the plug for it I've just stuck on with the actual 3M sticky pads that come with it. So nicely hidden without me having to go and source another connector like that. Okay, so as the curtain's installed, let's show it in action. So I'm at my Android phone here with the actual device added in. If I click there on the device, so you can see the current position is 100% and the curtains are showing closed at the moment. So at the bottom, you've got turn on, pause and turn off. So if I click turn on, there you go. Nice smooth motion on there as well. Okay, and just perfect amount of space, as you can see there, so it's not covering up the door or the door handle, so it's worked out quite good in terms of size. So I didn't have to take any of the extra pieces in the middle bit. Okay, next let's do turn off. Simple as that. Works well. A little bit squeaky. I don't know if we need to put some WD-40 in the actual track, but let's see how it goes over time. Okay, then you've got a pause button as well. So if I click turn on now and I hit pause, there you go, it pauses it. You can do turn off, pause, and all it is, it just stops it in mid-flow. So you can have it open slightly. Okay, so let me show you the options on here. So if I come to the top right hand corner here, click the edit button. So device name, you can rename it if you wanted to. Device location, so that's the location of the device. Check device network, so that confirms it's successfully connected to the network, test connectivity. Third party controls, so you've got all the devices that are compatible with it. So I'll name some of the main ones. So Alexa, Google Assistant, IFTTT, and I'll just scroll along just to show the others. Okay, next, you can share the device with other people. Create a group, so you've had a number of these curtains, you can group them together. So at the moment, I've only got one of these particular types of curtains. Then you've got device information, that will contain details like the IP address and MAC address of the device. Feedback, check for firmware upgrade, and remove device, and that's all the options you have available. So if I go back, so on here you've got a timer button, and if I click on add schedule, you can pick a time, you can say when you want it to occur, so you could have it happening certain days of the week, and you can say what sort of position you want the curtains to be in. So it's got a percentage from 0 to 100. So you could say on some days you want it half open or a quarter open, and then other days you can say you want it fully open. So very good functionality there. And again, 24/7 timer, which you can turn on and off as well. So when you're away on holiday, you can give the impression someone is home with this sort of timer. Okay, going back and back, and then you've got the actual picture of the curtain. And if I hold on to one of the round dots here and pull it slightly, it'll actually open it to that amount or close it accordingly. So if I pull it back to 100%, so really cool functionality, and that's all there is to it. So if I go back now, you can see there's an arrow pointing downwards. If I click on that, you've got a shortcut to open it as well. So at the moment it's at 100%. If I take it down a little bit, give it a second, and there you go. Excellent functionality on there, and I'll bring it back again. And it's closed. So it works really well, and it's very smooth motion on there as well. Okay, so next, let me show remote connectivity to this device. So if I drop this down, turn off my Wi-Fi, let's give 4G a moment to connect, and there you go, it's connected. And now if I click on curtain, in theory, it should work without opening any ports on my router. So if I just click turn on, there you go. So not on my Wi-Fi network at the moment, just remotely connected via 4G, and I'll click turn off. Still a little bit squeaky, just to note. So there you go, works really well remotely without opening any ports on your router. Okay, so next I'm going to show that you don't have to rely on the remotes that you get with the device or your smartphone to control it. So you could just come up to the curtains, and if I grab it a little bit and just give it a subtle tug, it just opens. There you go. And if I now pull on it again, just a little tug, and it closes again. Excellent functionality there. Okay, so next I've turned off all power to the curtains, and just to show whether or not you have to rely on it to be powered for it to work. So you should manually be able to open it. So if I pull it gently, you can open it. So you're not stuck if the power goes. And it's not too bad. And just to show, there you go. So it can be done manually as well, without any reliance on power. Okay, so next let's test out the two controllers. So let's start with this one first. Takes two AAA batteries, and on the back, if you pull down, cover comes off. Just put the batteries in, put the cover back on. Simple as that. And that's now closed. Okay, next you've got this one. So this takes a battery as well, a coin type battery, like so. And this is the, you don't get one with it. This is a CR2032. Okay, so best way I found to open this is just get something you can prise out the corners with. So I've got a knife here. And if we just gently do that, comes out. And there you go. And the battery just slips in like so. Just put the cover back on. And it's as simple as that. So now they're both ready to use. Okay, so let's test the first controller out. So let's go for this one. So 3 buttons on there. And if I come in slightly closer, the top one's to close, middle one's to pause, and the bottom one's to open. So if I click the bottom one, don't need to point directly at it. Can hit pause, point towards us, closes it. So great, didn't have to do anything to pair it, just worked straight away. And there you go. Nothing fancy on there, no timer options or anything like that, just straight open, close, pause. Okay, so let's take the other controller now. See if you can just about see it. So 2 sets of controls here. So it looks like if I click that one, and same buttons again, if you can see, you've got close, pause, and open. The other set don't do anything from what I've tried. So they must be for if you have 2 sets of these sort of curtains. So just the top buttons. So if I click that one, opens, pause, and close. And again, both remotes don't have any sort of timer options, so you're reliant on your smartphone to set timers. Okay, so I've set up my Google Home and Amazon Alexa. So next I'm going to show how to set up these smart curtains to work with both these smart bits of tech. So I'm at my Android phone here. Let's begin with the Amazon Alexa. So I'm going to click on the Amazon Alexa app here. Then we click in the corner here, click on Skills and Games, and we want to search for Smart Life. And this is the skill we're after. So mine's currently enabled. That's why you see disable skill. If you've not got it, enable it, enter in your credentials for the Smart Life app. Once it's added in, it will scan for all your devices. And then what you can do, you can go to devices, go to all devices, and you should see it in the list here. It's just there, curtain. So if I click it, that's the information you see about it. So you can edit the name, delete it, and you can see it's connected to Smart Life. Okay, and that's all you can do. You can't do anything more beyond that. So now it's linked. What I can do is if I unmute my Alexa and say, close the curtain.
Okay.
There you go. Open the curtain.
Okay.
There you go. Simple to set up and configure. And just to note, you can't do a pause or do a positional open or close to say 60% or 50%. It's either open or close, and that's the only options you have available. Okay, so next I'm going to show how to set up this device with your Google Home. So if I click on the Home app here, and we click down here, and then on Settings, Assistant, Home Control, and we click on the plus icon, and we want to add a service which is Smart Life. So I've already added it, but if you don't have it, obviously search for it, find it, add it in, enter in your credentials for Smart Life, and then it will link to the tech you have under Smart Life. So if we go back now, and if I scroll down, there you go, dining room curtain. Okay, so they're the details you see. You can't do anything with this other than rename it, unlink it, and just go to help and feedback. So that's all that's available. So let me unmute my Google Home.
By the way, the microphone is back on.
And I can say, close the curtain.
All right, closing the dining room curtain.
So you can call it whatever you want. In this instance, I've just renamed it to dining room curtain. And I can do open the curtain.
All right, opening the dining room curtain.
Close the curtain.
All right, closing the dining room curtain.
Pause the curtain.
All right, pausing the dining room curtain.
Close the curtain.
Okay, closing.
Pause the curtain.
All right, pausing the dining room curtain.
So there you go. Works really well with the Google Home, and you have the ability to pause it in mid-movement. So pretty cool. Now I've tested that obviously on the Amazon Alexa, and that wasn't possible. So good that you've got this additional functionality. So there you go, simple as that to set up and configure on the Google Home. Okay, so you've seen the unboxing and setup of these smart curtains. Build quality is great on there, comes completely flat packed, so you have to assemble everything, and that's what takes up quite a bit of time, following these instructions and obviously putting it all together. I did do a mistake, as I did show, where I put the belt in the track on the wrong side, and that caused the system to work in reverse. So I did troubleshoot and work out that that was the reason, and I rectified that. So it did take me a while obviously to set these up. Now if I did have a second one to do, it should be much quicker. In terms of functionality, you get remotes with that, so you're not reliant on your smart app or your Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa to use this. In terms of functionality, can be worked remotely, so you can be out and about, and if you want to close your curtains, you can just do that. You can set a timer on these as well, which is great. And if you don't have any of this nearby, you can just give it a tug and it will open. And if the power goes, you can just pull it closed as well. So you're not limited in any way with these. Price wise, I have done another set of curtains, and it does come in considerably cheaper than those. So just to note, with these obviously the more effort goes into assembling them because they're not custom made as the other ones were. And again, it comes in small sections, so you've got to sort of work out what size is right for you, take out the chunk. I don't think it's really recommended to cut these, because with the tools an average household would have, you may not be able to get a clean cut with this. But a great product. So I hope it's helped anyone thinking of purchasing. Details are in the description below. Thanks for viewing, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Open the curtain.
Okay, opening the dining room curtain.
Close the curtain.
Sure, closing the dining room curtain.